Thank you. First question, will there be people going to ships for upgrades prior to the final shift in December? Is there any more information you want to share about this?
Yes, indeed. There are humans on this earth right now who are unaware and also aware of their future missions. They will be going onto ships. They will be experiencing upgrades on those ships, and they will be coming back down with their light crystalline bodies and with a bigger mindset and their remembrance of their purpose here to help humanity. They will be in groups and they will be supporting each other, and they will be traveling along, and they will be opening their hearts and connecting others to their, shall we say, profoundly upgrading people and activating them to be able to see things for the bigger picture. Those are the people who are truly quite stuck and they need the extra boost. So this is their last chance, shall we say, to really profoundly connect in. No one will be left behind who doesn't want to be left behind, and the higher selves and the consciousnesses know that. And so there is these lifesavers, shall we say. That's not the term we will call them, but for this example and purpose of this conversation we are having with you today, and this is what we'll be calling them. The lifesavers will be coming back down to be able to help. They are the more accustomed to the lower densities, and so while they're so excited to have their crystalline bodies and to be able to have these bigger, finer upgrades, they also know that they must come back down to their own discomfort to be able to keep doing the services to humanity. And so this is very important for them, for their roles. This is what they also signed up to do. And they've been getting the heavier activations for this purpose to be able to come back down. This is a very great honor for them to be able to do this for humanity, and it is with such privilege. And so we're very excited to be able to confirm, yes, there will be these special beings who will be able to come and help and assist you.
Thank you. How will these beings look to the other humans that are still on Earth? How will they look different when they return from these ships with their upgrades?
For the people who personally know, the people who have been upgraded, their energy signatures will still resonate and ring true to them. It will be an evolved version of selves. It will not look scary or freakish. It will be quite pleasing to the eyes and the senses to see these beings, because they come with such grace, because they feed your soul with their higher, beautiful energies. It is going to be truly tremendous to see these. Some people will think this could be very scary, but it will not be, because they are quite angelic. They are glowing more than your normal natural skins. So they do have their crystalline bodies. They are still mostly light, but they still have matter as well. And they have to have more matter than you will have on the new earth, because they're still having to be able to be grounded down as such. The more they can ground down, the more others can see them. Remembering not all will be able to see them, because if this was for people who needed to go to the old and stay on the old earth, seeing these beings and being upgraded would take them offline on their mission, and these beings will not do that to them. So it's not possible for the people who are going to stay on the old earth to see these light beings, these lifesavers, because that would do a disservice to those. And so while most people will be able to see them, there will be others that will not, and that is the way it's important that's how it happens. And so it will be fine. There will be no attacks on these lightsabers, because the people who have got aggression in their hearts and defense in their minds, will be not able to see them.
Thank you. That is very clear. For people remaining on old Earth, are they going to notice the population? Sorry, how are they going to notice the population and the environment after the December shift? And how will it look as to how the population has passed in terms of the bodies?
So there will not be missing people. It will be your carbon-based bodies have been left behind. There may not be recovery of those bodies because of the floods, because of the destructions. And the surface of the earth has been cracked open. And so there will be a lot of changes geographically and population-wise. And so the people who need to stay on the old earth for those greater lessons will experience tragedy beyond your wildest imagines. I mean, you've seen the horrific movies that portray this end of days, Armageddon type of scenes, and that is going to be essentially what they're left with. It's not going to be, it's going to be so great and so shocking, and they need to have that loss. They need to have those hardships for those bigger purposes and lessons that they so willingly and excitedly chose to endure and explore and experience, signing their life contracts to stay on the old earth.
Thank you. So can we clarify that every being left on the old earth has contracted to receive any of the experience, the negative, well, perceived negative experiences they will endure on the old earth?
You are asking if there's anyone that's been left behind who did not sign up for it, and we're saying to you, no. All of the people who are left on the old earth signed up for it. All of the people who don't have the higher vibrations to be able to shift will die. They will perish during the shift because they did not sign up for old earth, and so they are running out of time. They need to awaken. They need to vibrate at a higher level, and so there is a lot of people still stuck in the lower levels who do not want to stay on the old earth, and so they need their wake-up call. And this is why you're about to see all of the proof that most of them need to see and understand and awaken to. And so this is very much why we have been trying to reach and awaken and heal and advise the people that are still off their path.
Thank you. We feel this answer will greatly assist the people. Next question.
The answer will shock people. We feel that that answer will scare people. We feel that that is going to make people very concerned if they are on their right path. And so no one wants to talk about death because you still have this belief system that it is a one lifetime experience, and that's not quite true at all. I mean, while there have been people who will only want to ever experience this one lifetime and that will be enough for them, majority of the people have had countless lifetimes and will continually have countless lifetimes after this one. So we understand that death seems to have still quite a taboo topic, and emotions and a whole lot of other confusion around the death process. And you've all done it before, potentially. We only see one listener here has had one lifetime, and they will only have one lifetime. They know who they are. And we're scanning through. And that is fine. It is fine. Thank you, Sari. We wanted to clarify because we know the emotions of the listeners are very sensitive and they trust us to navigate and help them through that. We don't want to leave the information that we share triggering them or making them into a lower vibrational fear state. That is not our purpose here.
Thank you. Thank you. Do people need to physically see the solar flash in December to ascend? And what if they are sleeping, for example, or inside the house and for one or another reason cannot physically see the solar flash?
The solar flash is not something that you must see to ascend. It will go, the energy will go through steel. The energy will go through houses and mountains and across the planet. It will not just stop outside your window. You will feel there is something that is brewing, and if you are awake at that time, you will be tempted to go outside because there is something that is excitable in your chests and in your stomachs. It may be a little bit of nerves, it may be something else, but intuitively, the people who are going to be awake at that time will want to go outside and connect and just kind of see. And it is not something that you have to. People will ascend inside. People will ascend while sleeping. So it is important for some people to experience it, and they will intuitively walk out and experience it. But it will all be as planned. Go with your guts. Go with your intuition. Follow where you feel like you should. Don't be afraid. This is a perfect time for you to start using your intuition more.
Thank you. How will the people remaining on the old Earth, how will they perceive the solar flash in December in the shift, if they indeed will perceive it at all?
So there will be lots of natural disasters. And so it would just be one natural disaster after another natural disaster. It's like a chain reaction of a lot of stuff happening. They will just think it is big earthquakes that have triggered volcanoes and a lot of natural activities. There will be a sense of the final shift, and therefore people will have heard, because there will not be so much great power structures and there'll be lack of communication after the shift. It will be as if the rumours will eventually slowly go out that potentially there was an asteroid that actually was the cause of the greater, bigger environmental disasters. So it is going to look like it was natural. They will have no clue that energy was being pumped into and onto the earth. There was no clue that the energy did leave the earth. They're going to be quite oblivious to it. It's just going to look like a lot of natural disasters that have all taken place almost simultaneously. So,
thank you. There's a question from Jer Engelcore. In the new Earth, will we be able to breathe underwater so we may explore and interact with marine life in the oceans?
it depends on the type of beings and bodies you want to encompass. If you choose, for example, to be a fish or something else on the new Earth, absolutely you can do and be that. Your light bodies are going to be quite different and can do quite different things. And so there is a lot of limitations, but there's also a lot of unlimitations. And so there is freedom and flexibility, but we can't say specifically for that one person how they are going to be able to experience things because they haven't asked for personal information to be shared here. But we can say to all that you can put your body still in water and connect, and it will be tremendous because of the power and the emotion of the water. When you put your light bodies into it, will be something quite wondrous, and the sensation will be phenomenal. You will not want to get out of the water, but it will be just incredible regardless of what you do. So don't think that your bodies are going to just be limited to just being human forms or light body human form versions. It can be something quite different. And so the whole world is going to be different in such a magical way. It's going to feel like you're in a dream when really this is the dream.
Thank you. This person was specifically inquiring about the ability to be able to communicate with dolphins and whales in the new earth.
You will all be communicating with other beings in a more telepathic sense. You'll be sensing and feeling each other in quite a different way. And so you will not be talking to them with your mouths, making sounds. You will be connecting with them in an energetic level. And it will be for all beings. You will find the limitations of words instantly as soon as you come onto the new earth, because words have always been so limiting. And so your languages will become emotional exchanges of thought, and it will be tremendous. And this is how you will not be able to deceive each other. This is how you will have so many generations of peace, because you'll be so honest with your integrity with each other and yourselves. And this is why you'll feel the true joy, the true passions, and the true higher emotions that the state of the fifth dimension will be able to provide for you.
Thank you. On the new earth, will we have the sense of physical touch?
Yes, you will still feel things because you are still have matter body bases as well as your light body. So you will have the best of both worlds for a while. You will be able to feel physically and you will be able to sense profoundly. So you will be able to have sensories of all. It will be very overwhelming as you start attuning and customizing yourselves to this very evolved state. So you will, and the more you evolve, the less you will be physical, and the less you will sense with the physical sensation, feel with the physical sensations. But you will be able to connect and tune and sense physicalities in different ways. Your higher evolved beings are all light bodies. You're all energy. There is no physical matter there. And so this is part of the human experience, to be so grounded, to be able to have the physicalities and the experiences of that. So that comes part and parcel with the lower density energies.
Thank you. This question is from Andre B. in Ireland. What is the role of light workers on the new earth?
The role of the light workers on the new earth are just like the roles on the light workers on the old earth: to assist, guide, reassure, and help everyone with their missions, their experiences. It is like your spiritual guides for you now, but on a physical level where you can hear them and sense them and feel them. And so there will be many roles, as you can imagine, as many people need assistance for different things.
Thank you. I know this question has been asked before, but I feel it would be useful to ask again. Will pets be travelling with us to the new Earth? And if there is a family unit which is split, for example, some will be going to New Earth and some will be staying in Old Earth, will the pets transition with the people to the New Earth, as well as an aspect of that pet potentially staying with the remaining family members that are to stay on Old Earth?
We will reformulate that question for you. The animal souls have their own contracts, and some of them will be assisting their owners, their companions, their soul family members. While you perceive your pets as just animals, they actually are the higher soul beings as well, also here to assist you. And so while they could have chosen to be your guides and assist you that way, they have chosen to come and be your physical assistants. So they're giving you the unconditional love and encouragement that you need. But most people only see animals as animals that just make them feel good. But there is bigger souls in there. And when you look at your animals, they will stare at you deeply, you'll be able to understand what we're trying to tell you here. The souls, just like humans who have chosen to stay on the old earth to assist, will also potentially be able to go to the new earth or to go to the old earth. It depends on each individual animal's contract, which they have chosen, and they will normally go with the owners of the pets, shall we say. But we all know you don't own pets, just like you don't own your children, you don't own any family members, you only are responsible for yourselves. And so we understand that a lot of people have been misgiving you the truth about animals and how they will ascend with the owners or stay on the old earth with the owners. This is important. There's a lot of misinformation out there about animals and about the ascension process and about the shifting. It is because they are limited and blocked themselves. So please use your discretions here when you're listening to other people, and even when you're listening to ourselves. See what resonates with you. There could be an opportunity for you to grow here, or if it doesn't feel like it resonates with you, regardless of who is telling you this, question why. Always question why. Remember, when you love yourselves, and you're more confident with yourselves, you're going to easily navigate through the bullshit. And so we want you really to take this quite seriously, because you're all quite used to accepting what people tell you. And if they have the big followers, if they have the big names, you seem quite easily misled into thinking that is the bigger information, and it is not. You all can use and tune into your own moral compasses now to know right from wrong, and who is telling you right from wrong, and who is telling you limited information. So we know that is not your question here, but we feel again that we want to remind people of this, because we are watching and we're seeing many misinformation being shared by other people who are trying to awaken, and they're not awakening. They are sharing disinformation. They are diluting the messages that they are getting, and it is a smaller extent harmful to humanity, to confuse humanity. So we wanted to take this opportunity to share this with you today.
Thank you. We appreciate this. Local First from Hibiscus Coast in New Zealand asks, rumour has it that there are 24 nuclear reactors under the Three Gorge Dam. A world event will be staged when that explodes and global military will be activated. Is this correct? Or does it collapse due to the water?
There is truth in the fact that people have put these warheads at the base of the dam, thinking that this will be their trick up their sleeves, shall we say. These are empty. They will not have any impact at all. We have already disarmed them, and we have already told you we will not let nuclear weaponry be used against yourselves anymore. While there are some smaller missile weapons that have been released recently, that was for a bigger purpose, and we agreed at the time to allow those to happen because we could see the bigger picture here. However, in saying that, the dam will collapse, and the dam is collapsing naturally because of the surrounding materials and the surrounding land that it is on. And so it will not be the 24 missiles that will, that will not be the 24 warheads that will be detonated to be able to make this collapse. That will not be the purpose and the point. And if you have heard that it will not be the truth, and you will know, and you'll be able to tap into that after the shift for yourself to know the truth there. So it will collapse, but it will be because of the design of the structure and the pressure and the movement of the land that will actually collapse that.
Thank you. Sarah Salazar asks, where will the new Earth be located in the solar system? Could we use a telescope to view it from Earth, for example?
You will not be able to see it with your bare eye, and you will not be able to see it on a telescope. It is not on your any maps, and it is in a secluded area right now. It is being protected because we do not want any other beings to come in and make themselves at home and comfortable. You can understand why we are highly protecting this new Earth because of what has happened to your old Earth. And so it is heavily protected. It is not on the maps, as we shall say. It is waiting, and it is invisible to people who have negative. We will repeat. It is invisible for the beings who have negative intent, who want to keep coming and colonizing on planets. We have worked hard for a long time to produce a new planet that can be sustainable for humanity as it evolves and explores the experiences that the fifth dimension has to offer. And so it is not on the map, and it will be protected. And so while we understand the curiosity of where exactly are you going, it will have to be a wait and see, and you'll understand when you're on the Earth why it needed to be heavily protected.
Thank you. We are grateful for your answers. Next question is from Josephine in New Zealand. Will the geographical structure of the new Earth be similar to current Earth? Will there be any structures built or otherwise on new Earth?
We don't want to copy and paste your countries now onto your new Earth. That does not serve any purpose. It needs to be completely different. And it will not have the your country versus my country feel about it. It will be one Earth. It's the new Earth. And so it will be connected differently. There will be different hemispheres because it needs to be balanced for environmental growth and evolution. Your question was about the structures of the buildings, and yes, over time you will start manifesting and creating those buildings for your structures and dwellings to live, and for you to be able to provide your start of your community buildings and community meeting houses and There's a lot that needs to be done. You are all, and this is very important, and we want you to understand this. The beings who are going to New Earth now are the founding members of the New Earth. And you have worked very hard to have those titles. You have worked very hard to have your skill sets to be able to provide great foundations for the New Earth and how humanity will take its first step forward into the fifth dimension. And so you will be able to start providing and creating and expanding. I mean, it's all up to you. How do you want to do it? And who you want to do it with. So it is a clean slate. We have not provided anything for you to force you into it. This is not how you're going to evolve. You're going to be empowered to be able to start doing things for yourselves through your integrity, through your hearts and your minds, with your community in focus. You will be more community-based because connecting with others will feel so profoundly good. And you haven't experienced that form of true connections of community because you haven't even experienced the true connection of self. And so we say it's very complicated how you're going to enjoy the new earth because you're still quite uneasy in your three-dimensional bodies, unable to unpack all the information about the shift and what's going to happen. So trust, it is very exciting times for you when you are on the new earth. So we will leave that information as it is, and we can expand on this at another time.
Thank you. How will any required rehabilitation of people from the transition from old earth to new earth, how will that look? Any rehabilitation in terms of trauma?
Most of the trauma on your physical bodies will be removed when you upgrade into your crystalline bodies. You will be leaving the trauma behind in the carbon-based bodies. And so it's going to be the emotional trauma of the shock of it, but that will be very brief because when you awaken on the new earth, you will be remembering somewhat of the lifetimes that you have had here. And so it is going to take some time, but you will not be such fragile beings. They will just be quickly processing it, but also feeling it too. And so there will be a lot of emotions to process, but you will have new skill sets as well and new abilities. And so you'll be taking some time to make the adjustments. The shock is really going to be what you'll be experiencing right up until the shift, as you see all of the third dimensional structures and industries crumble and fall.
Thank you. Local First from Hibiscus Coast in New Zealand has a question. Although not shift related, I specifically would like information on Bashar channeled by Daryl Anker and if he is a trustworthy channel.
Yes, good day. Absolutely, the integrity of the channel was pure. And unfortunately, it is not pure anymore because he is not anymore. He has been cloned. He has been used. He has been taken offline.
Are we referring to, thank you, are we referring to Bashar or Daryl Anker?
Bashar can never be cloned because he's a spirit. So obviously we're talking about the channel.
Thank you. May we speak to Bashar?
Yes.
Thank you. Bashar, do you have any information that you can bring forward for us to assist our collective? Thank you.
The information that you have been given for so long now should be the information that you can respect and trust. So we could keep repeating ourselves every day until the ascension. When are you going to start trusting the information is what we want to ask you. When are you going to start evolving and respecting the information we have repeatedly given you time and time again? And while there has been people who have had their lives lost because they have been sharing the greater truths, can you understand the sacrifices of many channels and many good integrity people who have tried to share the messages with you, to the deaf ears, to the stubborn, to the lazy, who do not want to own their power, who want to be in victim mode? You understand our frustrations when we are trying to help and evolve you, because you've asked us to, and we're repeating ourselves. What new information do you want us to provide for you that will start giving you the trust of the information we have been providing for you?
Thank you. There is a lot of the collective that is aware that we do need to use discernment in this environment. How can you comment on that, please?
That is an excuse. You know the truth. You are just trying to find faults in others. Go within and you'll know the truth.
Thank you.